Feel glad if anyone slanders you, and always be careful that you don't slander others. Meher Baba. Now, let us see why it is so important to avoid slandering, to avoid backbiting, and how does it affect our spiritual progress. Let's read what Meher Baba have said on backbiting, what Meher Baba have explained. Meher Baba says, of the three most important things to be eliminated before attaining God realization, greed, lust, backbiting is the worst and most disastrous. Now here, Meher Baba says there are three most important things that are needed to be eliminated, got rid of before God realization. And Meher Baba states that those are greed, lust, and backbiting. Further, Meher Baba says, backbiting is the worst and most disastrous. One can overcome greed and even lust, though both are very hard to get rid of. But by far the worst, Baba says, by far the worst and most difficult habit of all to eliminate is to speak ill of and trying to find faults and flaws in others. So, Meher Baba is directly telling us the most disastrous is backbiting and slandering. And Baba also says it is the most difficult thing to get rid of. And if we see it in our own lives, we will notice this thing is going much of the time. Backbiting, speaking ill of others, slandering others, finding faults of others, flaws of others. These things keep coming up in life, and this has to be avoided as much as we can. This is the worst thing we can do, and it hampers our spiritual progress, Meher Baba says. And why must it be eliminated? Meher Baba explains, because this particular act or vice incurs the burdens of sins or sanskaras of others, which is spiritually very derogatory and reactionary. Now here Baba says, this particular act or vice, Baba says the act of slandering, finding fault in other is a vice. It is, and why it is vice? It incurs the burden and sins or sanskaras. And here what are we doing? By backbiting and slandering is, we are incurring the weight of those sanskaras done by someone else on us. Free me. So Baba says, if anyone speaks about another's shortcomings behind his back, even though what he says may be true, it is slander, Meher Baba says. Now this is very, very important. Like Meher Baba makes it clear that two people are talking. Suppose I am talking with somebody, I am talking bad about someone else. And even though what I am saying is true, Meher Baba says it is still slander. So I am still taking his karma over me. So Meher Baba has explained, because our mind can trick us, and my mind had that, oh, what I am speaking is truth about the other person. But Meher Baba says it is also slander, and it should also be checked, not done. Thus, sanskaras of slandering are of two types, direct and indirect. Suppose Mr. A says to Mr. B, Mr. C has not come. He is a bad man. Mr. C is not present. Mr. A has told this directly to Mr. B. Consequently, there is an exchange of sanskaras in an indirect way between Mr. A and Mr. C, and in a direct way between Mr. A and Mr. B. Thereby, minutest of sanskaras are created. For millions of births, it is difficult to be freed from. This is from Lord Mayor, first edition, Bhaukalchuri, volume 7. Let's understanding go through it once again. Now suppose I am Mr. A, you are Mr. B. I am talking with you. I am talking ill about a person C. I am talking bad about him, backbiting, some flaws about him, bad qualities about him. Then what happens is I am indirectly taking the burden of his, whatever I am talking, those sanskaras, the burdens, the effect I am taking over to me. And directly between us, this thing is going. So we are incurring the burden of those faults or bad deeds or whatever on us. And this is spiritually very derogatory. Now, explaining slander to a devotee, Meher Baba cited the following couplet of Kabir. He who slanders me is my friend, because with his own soap he cleanses me of my dirt. Now this is wonderful, wonderful couplet by the perfect master Kabir from 15th century. In the 15th century, Kabirji said, like, he who slanders is my friend. As we have seen, why he is our friend? Because when he is slandering, when he is talking ill about me, when he is talking about something bad about me, what he is doing is the effect of my bad karma he is taking upon himself. So he is my friend. He is cleaning my sanskaras. He is taking off the burden of my sanskaras over to him. Now, Meher Baba emphasized the first thing required is love. Now, this is very, very important, I feel. We are talking about backbiting, the ill effect of backbiting. We should not be backbiting. We are going through it. But Meher Baba says, first thing required is love for God. Without love for God, it is the first requirement. The basic requirement is love for God. And if we go through Meher Baba's teachings or life, we will be listening again and again repetitively. Love for God. Love for God is the most important thing. The basic primary thing is love for God. And I have been also fortunate to read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna many times. And even in that book, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, I have seen is again and again and again repetitively emphasizing on love for God. It is the primary thing we should remember. And then Baba says, second is doing no backbite. He added, feel glad if anyone slanders you, and always be careful that you don't slander others. Now we have to be very careful, Baba says, that we don't slander others. We don't just put burden of other sanskaras on us. Other people are doing bad, and by backbiting, by slandering, what we are doing? Okay, you are creating much weight over you. Let me take your weight on me. So avoid that, Baba says, for a smooth spiritual progress. And while Baba was explaining this, a woman said, Baba, I don't slander anyone. And Baba, in a humorous way, answered, it is good that you don't slander anyone. But generally, he who drink liquors says, do I get intoxicated? I am never drunk. So basically, what I understand that if we feel that we don't slander, then Baba is telling us we are like that intoxicated man who says, I never get drunk. Now, let us go to the last message given by Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi before she dropped her body. Holy Mother said to a grieving lady, let me tell you one thing, my child. If you want peace, do not look into anybody's faults. Rather, look into your own faults. Learn to make the world your own. No one is a stranger, my child. The whole world is your own. Now, here in the Holy Mother's last message also, she has said if we want peace of mind, if we are looking for peace of mind, we should stop looking for faults in others. Rather, we should be looking at the faults in our own self. And when we are looking at a faults in our own self, doesn't mean we beat ourselves. It is in my limited understanding. I feel it doesn't mean that we continuously are thriving on our own faults. We are putting attention on it. No. What my limited mind understand is we have to see the faults which are hampering our spiritual growth. Like if we are backbiting, we have to see our fault. That okay, this backbiting is bad for me. We have to stay alert and then stay away from it. This is my fault and I should stay away from it. Again, same way we go to Meher Baba's three most important things to be eliminated. One is greed. Like if I feel greedy, I have to be constantly aware. But again, from that even Meher Baba have said and Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa have said, same thing, I am paraphrasing it, that direct that greed towards God. If you want to be greedy for God. Be greedy for love for God. So that is it. If I feel greedy for a transient things like wealth or money, power, if I feel greedy for it, then I should be stay away. Okay, I am greedy for transient things. This is my fault. This is taking away peace of my mind. What I should be greedy is be greedy for love for God. Be greedy for God. Love for God. This is what my limited mind understands. Again, for lust, if lusty thoughts attacks us, lusty feeling attack, I have found this to be very, very helpful. It has been very helpful. Meher Baba says, whenever lusty thought comes, don't go with it. Just repeat my name. Just repeat the name of God and beseech God to take away that feeling. And it happens. That help me. God's grace then helps us. Again, further, Holy Mother said, learn to make the world your own. No one is a stranger, my child, she said. So that feeling also, if we are not feeling that the world is our very own, that again is a fault in us, that is willing us from this truth that the whole world is mine, then again we have to pray and follow what they have taught. Love God, repeat God's name with love for God. That is it. Now, this also reminds me of a very good story in the chapter 18 and 19 in Shirdi Sai Charitra. There is a story Overall, these 18, 19 chapters are really good, very good. I have loved them most. In this chapter, there is a story related to the slandering. One man, what he did was he slandered, he spoke ill about his fellow brothers very much. And it is mentioned that while listening to that, even the listener were disgusted. Then Sai Baba of Shirdi, the omniscient one, he had his own way to teach. Baba pointed out to him a pig that was eating filth near that fence and said to him, "Behold how, with relish, it is gorging dung. Your conduct is similar." So Baba showed him a pig that was eating filth, and Baba showed him that like the pig is enjoying the filth so much, and your slandering is same thing. You are enjoying gulping the filth. Again, when Baba told him, after performing many merits, you have got a human birth. And if you act like this is very important. Like if you act like this, if you indulge in slandering, Baba said, will Shirdi help you in any way? Will the sacred land Shirdi help you? Will the grace of Shirdi, will the grace of Baba help you in any way? Baba made it clear that if you slander, even the grace of Shirdi will not be able to help you. So again, a very, very important lesson from Shirdi Sai Baba on the same topic, slandering. We are going through this just because we can stay away from it as much as we can. We have to be on guard. It is really, really difficult, and it has a really, really bad effect also. That's why we are going through it, and we should be going through it again and again. And when Sai Baba says, will Shirdi help you? We should be clear about the help also. Like when Sai Baba says, Sai Baba of Shirdi says, Meher Baba has stated it very clearly, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Holy Mother Sarada Devi, they are there to help us to realize God. They are here to help us that we realize our true self, which is infinite bliss, infinite power, infinite knowledge. Right now, we feel ourselves as we are finite, we have many limitations, and so on. But we have to spiritually go forward and realize God, what God is, and ultimately know that there is only one God. There is nothing else. We are also God. There is nothing besides God. So it is not a help for transient things like, okay, money, relationship, good health, and all those things. No doubt, Baba gives those things also, but they are transient. And when Baba gives those things, it is only if it will help us in spiritual progress. Otherwise, if it is hampering, they will not give it. In fact, Meher Baba have said, Ma Sarada Devi said, and Shirdi Sai Baba has also said, and they say only one thing, that consider troubles or bad times as a gift from God. Consider suffering as a gift from them. If we consider the suffering as a gift from God, that God has given this, it is needed for my spiritual progress. If we listen to them and our mindset is focused on what they say, then it is very helpful. Then pain is not a thing, suffering is not a thing we will try to avoid, but we'll accept this as a gift of God, and again with God's grace we'll pass through it and progress spiritually. Now, while thinking about this, putting our mind on this topic of avoiding backbiting, I am reminded of a very good story from Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Really, really wonderful book, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So, most probably in the fourth chapter, Narendra, that is, was 19 years old. Narendra is to be Swami Vivekananda. The world today knows him as Swami Vivekananda. That time he was Narendra and he was 19 years old. He was talking with the author of Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Mahendranath M. He was a school teacher at that time. Like those two people were talking. Now I will read from the Gospel. And while they were talking, actually, Swami Vivekananda was telling him about the bad habits of the youth, of the college youth. He was talking some details about the bad habits of the college youth to M. And now, while this talk was going on, now I'll read from Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. They were talking thus when Sri Ramakrishna came to them and asked with a smile. Ramakrishna Paramahansa always has a smile, the divine joy within him. Well, what are you talking about? Narendra, I have been asking M about the boys in the schools. The conduct of students nowadays isn't all that it should be. Now, this is what Narendra said, and let's see the reaction of Master, Sri Ramakrishna. The Master, that is Sri Ramakrishna, became grave and said to M rather seriously. Now, here we should notice the change of mood in Sri Ramakrishna. He came there joyous, and as soon as he heard this, his face became grave, and he told the following to M, and rather seriously. This is a serious subject. This kind of conversation is not good. It isn't desirable to indulge in any talk, but talk of God. See, again, this thing comes. Okay, backbiting is not good, and what is desirable? Sri Ramakrishna says, talk on God. That is why I like Gospel so much, filled with love for God, love for God, love for God. Meher Baba, same thing. Love God, love God, love God. The primary thing, love God, think about God, put your mind on God. Okay, put your mind on the bad deeds, you attract bad karmas. Put your mind on God, you attract the impression of the impressionless ways, the sanskars of the one who is sanskarless. So, by putting our mind on God, what God has done, what God is saying, we are progressing rapidly towards God. And if we put our mind on other things, then we are hampering our spiritual growth. That's how I understand. Now, further, Ramakrishna says, you are the senior and you are intelligent. You should not have encouraged them to talk about such matters. So this to the senior of the two, the master, Ramakrishna says that you should not encourage. This is also takeaway for us. If somebody starts speaking with us, start gossiping with us, start slandering with us, then we should stop them. If we can, that okay, we should not be indulging in this. We should rather be talking about God or some good subject, some spiritually elevating subject. If we can't, if the listener are not ready for it, we keep silence, remember God, repeat the name of God, let the thing happen. That's the approach of my limited mind. So, today in this video, there are two takeaways for us, most important takeaways for us, for our spiritual journey. Number one is love for God. Number two, avoid backbiting at any cost. Try your best. It is very difficult, it is most difficult to do, but we should be trying our best to avoid slandering, backbiting, speaking ill of others, finding faults of the others, even looking faults in others. This is our takeaway. Now, I also remember in Sri Sai Charitra, chapter 10, it is written, the function of the mind is to think. It cannot remain for a minute without thinking. If you give it a sense object, it will think about it. If you give Guru, it will think about Guru. So, let us remember where to put our wandering mind to. We have to direct it towards Guru, God. In any way we can do it. We can do it by repeating God's name with love while remembering a God. We may be meditating on God's form or formless aspect of God, or reading the stories of God or Guru. There are many ways to do this, to diverting our mind on divine. Now, pondering on the bad effects of slandering, I am suddenly reminded of Meher Baba's words on slandering, because I remember I was with friends and like one friend was like scandalizing a form of avatar, like, and generally 2 or 3 times I noted that the topic they were going through were scandalizing the saints, maybe so-called saints. So I warned them. I even Google search Meher Baba on scandalizing the saints and send them the quote. Don't do this, don't do this. And so I did the search again and I am quoting that Meher Baba's quote again in this video. I'll read the quote. As far as you are concerned, you should neither criticize nor indulge in backbiting. If you speak ill of a real saint, it will be harmful to you. You will create dreadful sanskaric blunders. You should avoid vilifying even the so-called Mahatmas who called themselves saints, because it is not possible for you to be certain whether they are real or not. And this is very, very important takeaway. So today we'll end our video with again the quote from Lord Meher. Remember that the first step in spirituality is not to speak ill of others. All human beings have weaknesses and faults, yet they are all God in their being. Until they become realized, they have their imperfections. Therefore, before trying to find faults in others and speaking ill of them, try to find your own weakness and correct those. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय.